Hello, adventurers, travelers, and friends, and welcome back to a Bragworthy Adventures video. I'm your host, Rose, and today we're going to talk about Taiwan with Casey from KCG Create. Casey is here with us from KCG Creates, and she has her own DIY channel on YouTube. Go check it out. It'll be in the description box below. And she also has lived in Taiwan for 2 years, so she knows a lot about it, and she's here to tell us a little bit of what we should do when we're there. Casey, you want to say anything else about your channel?
Sure. Like Rose said, I have a DIY channel. Over time, I'm going to be creating a lot of DIYs that are more travel themed. So I'm going to be creating something to display my travel photos or my souvenir keychains, which is my souvenir of choice, and things like that, and being inspired by my travels to create some decor items for my room and for my house.
And she's also going to be helping me create a travel jewelry case. So that'll come out on her channel later this year. Today, we're gonna focus on Taiwan. So if you didn't know, I have my Bragworthy adventure coming up in less than a year now, where I'm gonna go to 12 different countries in 6 months. So it'll be kind of a circular trip around the world. And one of the countries I'm obviously going to is Taiwan. So go ahead, Casey, tell us all about Taiwan.
So Taiwan is a very small island country off the coast of China. Technically, it is part of the Republic of China. The currency is called the New Taiwan dollar, and transportation in Taiwan is phenomenal. Taipei itself has its own system, I guess you could say, called the MRT. They've got 8 trains throughout the whole city, and they crisscross and everything, and 4 of them go to Taipei main station, which is the hub, the center, and then there are buses all around, and I mean tons of buses. It is very updated within Google Maps to know which buses and which trains go where and at what times. The buses kind of run every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes or something like that. So it's less structured than the MRT. The MRT is every 2 and 3 minutes there's another train at the station going the other way.
That's nice, because even if you miss it, there's another one right around the corner.
Coming in a few minutes, yeah. If you want to stay in Taipei, I say public transportation is a great way to go. You can get a scooter, but there are more scooters on the island of Taiwan than there are people. So it's kind of hectic.
So if you're in Taipei, use public transport. If you get out of Taipei, you can use a scooter without feeling like you're gonna die.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for myself, my husband and I are gonna go to Taiwan after we've been to sort of China and South Korea and Japan. This will be kind of the next spot. It's Taiwan and Hong Kong after those areas. Okay. And we'll be there for probably 10, 12 days.
Okay. So
we'll probably want to spend about a week. We're going to be with friends. So we'll probably want to spend a week with our friends in Taipei. And then I would like to see another part. Since I do know Taipei is, a centralized city, I always think it's good to get out of the city too and see what else the country looks like in other parts. First, we'll probably focus on Taipei, because that is the first place I'm going to go and probably the places I'm going to stay the longest. So do we want to jump into what you should do while you're in Taipei?
We could do that. That sounds great. So one of the main things that I like to do when I was in Taipei is the night market. I have no words for how fantastic night markets are. You go, there's food, there's shopping, there's people, there's Taiwanese, there's foreigners, there's so many different things to do. You can try the most outrageous food ever at a night market. The best fried chicken I've ever had in my entire life, and fried chicken is one of my favorite foods, so I've had a lot of fried chicken. Wow. The best fried chicken I've ever had was in a Taipei night market. Okay.
I heard the night markets are kind of almost like a carnival in a way. They even have games and stuff along with the shopping.
Yeah, they have a lot of shooting games. They have those dart and balloon games and things.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty great.
I don't, so when do they open? So if it's a night market, is it really only open at night,
It's
or is it
open at night? It's
okay?
only, you can go during the day and it's open, you can walk around, but there is nobody there. So generally they're open around just before sunset, I'd say, so like 4 or 5 p.m.
Are they rowdy, or is it more just like
It's more just a lot of people in a small space.
okay.
They're not really that rowdy.
The night market sounds awesome. What else should we do while we're in Taipei?
So Taipei has a lot of like historical type things to do. The main thing that I would suggest doing, honestly, is the National Dr. Sun Yat-sen Memorial Hall. And I believe I said that correctly.
It's certainly a mouthful.
It is. You can watch it, or you can go to it from Taipei 101. It is very close to Taipei 101.
Which is a mall, right? That's what Taipei 101 is?
It's a mall, yes, but it's also an office building for the most part, like the middle of the building. And then the very top is an observation deck.
Oh, okay.
So you can go up there, and it's really cool. It has like the only mass damper, or the largest mass damper on display. And a mass damper is this giant metal ball hanging from the top of the building inside. And when there's an earthquake or what do they call it? A hurricane, and there's wind or movement or something, this ball will help the building stay upright.
Oh.
Yeah, so it moves, the ball will move inside and will help keep the movement of the building to a minimum.
So near this, Taipei 101 is the long-named historical place that I'm not going to try and repeat because I will butcher it.
Dr. Sun Yat-sen.
Dr. Sun Yat-sen, yep, okay. Moving on.
It is hard. I lived in Taipei for 2 years, or Taiwan for 2 years, and I still have trouble pronouncing it. So, but it's really cool. It's a memorial hall for the first president of Taiwan. He was the one to like found Taiwan and like create its democracy system and things like that. And he was the first president of Taiwan. There is a giant statue of him that is guarded by armed guards at all times of the day. Wow. And every hour on the hour, they have a changing of the guards ceremony. And that is really cool to see. Really
Does it get crowded? Is that something that like I want to get there 15 minutes before the hour, or?
It does get kind of crowded. 15 minutes, yeah, is fine. People generally don't start coming in until I'd say like 3 to 5 minutes beforehand would be fine.
Okay.
So, but you can wander. There's beautiful gardens outside. You can see Taipei 101 from the gardens. So it's just this like amazingly serene garden area with water and flowers and everything. And then Taipei 101. It's quite cool.
What do I do next?
Okay, from there you can probably go to, it's called the Hwashen 1914 Creative Park. Very cool. It's an old winery complex that it's abandoned, and they turned it into like pop-up shops for like creatives to come in, and they have like movie nights during the summer out on the like the front area. Take a lot of pictures. It's beautiful.
There's also, I think you mentioned, a free walking tour in Taipei, the city.
Yes, there are.
I love.
There's 3 walking tours a day. Each one has a different like theme. The one that I did is called the Gilded Walking Tour. So it kind of focuses on Taiwan in the Gilded era, and it focuses on like the styles of architecture and what Taipei was like before Taiwan became Taiwan.
And then I think you mentioned too, there was some hiking around the area. If I wanted to get out of the city. I think one of them you mentioned was a longer hike, and it was the tallest hike, and then one was like, there was another one that was a short hike that you could do within an hour.
Yes, so there's this hike The mountains are named after animals. So there's Elephant Mountain and Tiger Mountain and something else and something else. The beginning of it is Elephant Mountain. Elephant Mountain is first, and that's the short hike. That's like maybe 45 minutes there, maybe 45 minutes back. And when you get to the top, you have an amazing view of the city. Completely like panoramic surround view of the city. It's beautiful. But you can continue on from there and continue going through Tiger Mountain and the other mountains and get also other amazing views of the city and of the what's south of Taiwan, Taipei, which is essentially greenery. And I've done the first one up to Elephant Mountain, but I have not continued past that. Okay. And hiking in Taiwan is not what you think hiking is.
Okay, what should I expect when I hike?
Stairs.
No.
A lot of stairs.
I should get on that step master now, get
practice. Yes.
Okay, so it's instead of doing sort of like switchback mountain hiking, it's literal steps.
Mm-hmm. Some of the taller hikes you do need a permit for, so look into making sure if you need a permit for them or not.
That's good to know. They're
not like dangerous or anything. They just want to limit the number of people on them to try to preserve the area as much as possible.
Do you get the permit when you arrive, or how do you get the permit?
The process is different for each one. If it's in a different national park, there are 3 national parks that I know of off the top of my head. So I think the process is different for each park.
I know there were multiple day trips you mentioned, and some really cool ones that I'm really excited about, especially since I'll be there 7 days. That's plenty of time to go on a couple day trips.
Yes, definitely.
Visit. So do you want to go through some of the cool day trips nearby?
Sure. Which ones were you interested in?
So I did like the idea of going to the same place as where Spirited Away was like sort of inspired by, right?
Inspired by.
But I was hoping for a little more information on what to do there, because other than it being inspired, I was like, well, okay, if I go there, then what do they have a bathhouse? Like, do I go take a bath? Yeah. Like, because I think that would be so cool. I used to watch that all the time as a kid.
It is pretty cool. Yeah. It's called Hwashen.
Okay.
And when you go, do not get off at the bottom, because again, it's a mountain town and there are a lot of stairs. So continue on up the mountain on the bus, and then you can take the stairs down and catch the bus back again at the bottom. One of the best things to do in Hwashen is a lot of tea houses. There are a lot of tea houses. And a lot of scenery. Since it is a mountain town, there are some gorgeous spots of the coast, and they come up like out of nowhere. Like you're walking along and then bam, there's an amazing scenery.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
So just sort of take the day to tour around, sit in some cute tea houses.
Yeah.
Calm sort of day trip.
Yeah, like more of a relaxed kind of just wandering around, experiencing it kind of day trip. Yeah.
And another one that I thought looked really interesting was the I'm sorry, I can't remember the names, but the resort hotel one where I think it is a bathhouse, or there's thermal springs.
Hot springs, yes. Hot springs are a huge thing in Taiwan, all over.
This place, it started with a B. It was like
it's called Beitou. Beitou. Beitou.
Okay.
It's north of the city, and you can take the red line up straight up to the end of the line, and you're smack dab in the middle of Beitou, which is a town.
Okay.
And then in the town there are a lot of things. The library is beautiful in Beitou. It's beautiful. But yeah, you can wander around. They have like a walking tour, like a self-guided walking tour that you can do. There are tons of hotels with hot springs that you can do. There are public hot springs and private hot springs. You can, when you go I went to a public hot spring, and there were, I think, 12 different kinds of soaking tubs. There were ones with jets, there were ones with lounges inside, like there were showers, there's just lounging pools, there's so many different things. So that I do highly recommend doing at the end of the day after you have explored, because you will be so blissed out and so tired that all you will want to do is go home and lay down.
Okay, good order of things. Walk, explore,
Yes.
go home.
Yeah.
And another one of the day trips that really interested me is there was 2 different spots where you could create, build, light your own lantern. And I didn't know,
yes.
did you do it in both or did you do it in one? Which spot is maybe better for it? What are your thoughts on, I think one was called Pinxi or
Pingxi.
so
Yeah.
Pinxi, and what was
Pingxi.
the other place? It was in here.
Hwashen? No, that's not it.
Hwashen, I think.
Hwashen, that's right.
Okay,
Hwashen.
so
it's the county.
Hwashen is the
and
county, and they've got the waterfall there and lanterns and
Mhm.
things. And then
Mhm.
Pingxi
Pingxi.
is where you can decorate the lanterns and
yes, you can
release
do
them.
your own lantern.
Okay, so it's not really 2 different places. It's just the whole county you
It's
can kind of
all
do
of
it, and then
things.
this specific city you can absolutely do it.
Yes, yeah.
And you can do this lantern anytime, right? Like
Any
you don't
time
have
of
to
year.
be there for the
Yeah.
Lunar New Year to
No.
release.
It's just
at
during the Lunar New Year is the festival that they have,
Mhm.
but it's such a big draw that there are stores in the town that do it all year round.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't have to be there in February.
No.
To do it. So for these day trips, we've got so far Joyfin, Beito, and Pingxi.
Yes.
Which one, how close are they and far are they? Like how much time am I expecting between when I get on perhaps the train or the bus, whatever it is, in Taipei to when I'm going to get to these places?
Okay, so to get to Beito, you take the MRT, and that's maybe a 30-minute, 45 minutes to the town center of Beito. From there, walking around and everything, if you want to go out farther, it does take quite a while of walking.
Okay.
There's not public transportation within Beito except for the train into town and out of town.
Okay.
Sometimes, and I think it's more of like the popular times, they do have like a tourist shuttle bus almost, but almost specifically for the hot springs hotels. Pingxi is a couple hours, I'd say. There's no train out to Pingxi. There is a bus though. Okay. And I believe it is a tourist bus too. Taipei does have a tourist bus system set up specifically for tourists to get out to some of the more popular sites around.
Do those cost a little extra, the tourist buses, or is it about the same as the normal buses?
I think it's a little bit extra, but mostly because of the distance. I don't think it's extra because you're a tourist.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then you'd use the same kind of bus system to get out to Jofen. Different bus, obviously, 2 different directions. But it's another, I want to say that one's maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. And Pingxi's maybe 2 to 2.5.
Okay, wow. We have a lot of awesome things to do in Taipei. We've got 3 different day trips. We've got hiking. We've got historical landmarks and night markets. I'm like really excited. The more I hear about it, the more I can't wait to go. I still have a year, but but I still can just have fun with the planning right now. In the interest of time, we are going to end this video here. And so if you are dying to know where else we should go in Taiwan, to the other cities around, like she mentioned, Taichung is one of the places that, did I say that right?
Yes.
Is one of the places that she said we could go. If you want to know more about that place, subscribe. We'll have another video coming out with wonderful Casey here telling us about those places. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much, Casey, for your time. And as always, bye, travelers.